Right. So, hi everyone, it's Jo Gifford here from Killer Content Academy with the wonderful, the one, the only Denise Duffield-Thomas. Hey Denise.
Hey Joe, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. I'm so excited to speak to you. So, you are a money mindset mentor. So, for those of my peeps who haven't heard that phrase before, tell me about that.
Yes, so I just want to say off the bat, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an accountant, anything like that. What I have always been about is helping women transform their lives. And when I started my business, I was doing life coaching and then I went into business coaching. And I found that the biggest thing that was really keeping clients stuck was their mindset around money, because the strategy stuff is it's not easy, but it's kind of, you can write a to-do list for a business plan and just tick it off, right? But there's always something that stops people from doing the most obvious things that they know that they need to do in their business. And that is all about their mindset and their beliefs about what's possible for them. So there's a lot of crap, right, that stops us from taking that action. And so for my clients, I realized it was all about the money stuff, and it was all about their thoughts and feelings about money. So that's when I started just, first of all, just talking about it with my clients. And then I created a course, the Lucky Bitch Money Bootcamp, and I wrote a book, Get Rich Lucky Bitch, because I find for women, when they get that mindset piece right, the rest of it falls into place, but it's so much easier when you've got your mindset sorted. Otherwise, you're constantly kind of butting up against a brick wall, and that's no fun.
Now, from my own experience, I joined your Lucky Bitch Bootcamp in 2014, and this is where people can probably relate. So I was at the stage where I'd actually been self-employed for 8 years, I think at the time, but I'd made the transition into purely online. So it was a new business model, and things were kind of going fine. You know, had an audience, had a platform, had some stuff, and things weren't selling. And I was in the hustle hard mode all the time. I was kind of like, what's going on? And I just invested in my first ever sort of, group coaching thing, sold my first little pilot product, all was good. And I was at the stage then when I was like, what next? And your stuff kind of pinged into my world, and I read your book, and I joined the bootcamp. And for me, the changes have just been phenomenal. I was listing them out actually, and it's things from, for example, I'll be on my 5th holiday this year that's been totally manifested. My business income just doubled and then tripled and just went crazy. I had my biggest years. I mean, it wasn't immediate, it was incremental, which I think is a really important point to make. And I know it's stuff that you talk about, isn't it, going in kind of increments. And looking back on when I started to make those changes, it was the tiny things, and it was actually the permission to start to look at this stuff as well. Is that something that you find is quite common with women?
Oh, absolutely. And it's almost the most important piece, to be honest. But when you say about the tweaking and the layering and all that kind of stuff and the incremental upgrades, I'm really passionate about that, because I can see how fast success can really hamper people in the long term, and it can really screw up some stuff, right? And it's part of that story that a lot of us have about this feast or famine roller coaster of entrepreneurship. And the best thing is when you do these things incrementally, which is how we teach it in the bootcamp, the foundation is so much stronger. And then you get to a stage where you're not having to have these massive high highs and low lows. You're much kind of steadier, but it's the abundance grows and grows and grows over time.
Yeah. And I think, when I think back to those earlier days of joining the bootcamp, and I'd the sort of numbers that I was trying to manifest in my business, now I would see it as a walk in the park. But that's a whole, the stuff that I face now is a different level. So I come back to it all the time, and it's so lovely in your Facebook group as well to see people who are joining the bootcamp and watch their transitions and hear their stories and kind of see how they change their lives and their businesses. And when I kind of think back to those sort of tiny tweaks, the first one started with making the investment of the bootcamp itself. And this is actually something which, when I asked my community, what can I ask Denise on your behalf? One of them said, well, how do I manifest money for the bootcamp? And my answer was this. I said, actually, if you make the installment plan, and you work on yourself, it's actually going to be something which will pay back, really fast. And if you're really, really, really stuck and you really can't, start with your book, like start somewhere and just start. And that's got to be something which you hear loads, well, how can I even join the bootcamp? How can I afford to do that? And what do you say to people?
Well, that's the thing. I role model this for other people, right? Because every profession or every entrepreneur knows this feeling of wanting to try and serve everybody and feeling really bad about not being able to serve everybody. And that's why I created my book, so it's kind of like it's a mini kind of version of my boot camp, and I can feel really good about it when people say, I can't afford to work on my money mindset. Ironically, it's like, great, go read my book, go read my blog posts. And I think that's definitely a thing that I love to role model, that it's okay to charge for your expertise. It's okay to charge for your time and attention, because then you can create the energy and the space to make other things for people, and if I didn't charge beautifully for what I did, I probably wouldn't have any energy to write a book. So, I see these people burning themselves out doing so much work trying to help everyone, and the reality is they can only help a small amount of people, so you've got to create that time and creative space for you to create more things, or create passive income products, or write a book, or write blog posts. Because then when people come to you who can't afford to work with you, you've got somewhere to send them with all integrity and care.
And you are epic with your content creation as well. Obviously for me, that's my jam, is creating content and getting people to work with it. And the way that you model that is phenomenal. You're out there every week sharing this stuff. So as you say, you've got, if people can't sort of join right now, then there's every week there's amazing stuff which comes through, and you'll gain loads from that, which as a small business owner is amazing to kind of watch how you model that for people, how you kind of show them, well, I'm giving my tips, and yes, you can get so much from that. But for me, I would say that if anyone is ready to stretch themselves a little bit and invest, the accountability and the changes that I've sort of personally seen within that group have just been phenomenal. And I'm, in fact, right now I'm sort of working with two Bs, from the bootcamp, on a project, and it's so beautiful because these are women who have dealt with their mindset issues, and so or who are like in the process of, and so we speak the same language. We know we're on a personal development train. We know that we're in a different space from people who are still kind of struggling. And I think it's not to kind of sort of think down of people who are in that, because we have all been there, and that's what's lovely. We can all relate. That kind of hitting your head against a brick wall thing.
Community is so important for success in any area of life, and I think especially for being in business, it's like, let's face it, some days it sucks, because it's so scary, and you don't have co-workers when you work for yourself. You don't have that company structure, and you don't have people telling you what you should charge, and it's all down to you. And if you're doing it by yourself, it's really freaking scary. So you do need a community around you. But actually, something you were just saying too, something else I like to role model is you've got to give your clients excuses to work with you. Yes. And I see this a lot, that people give, and then they never ask for anything in return. And maybe the first time that people do it, especially if they're known as being givers, maybe you give free angel readings in groups, or you're giving lots of free coaching. As soon as you charge for it, there could be some backlash around that, right? So you have to give your audience, you have to show that from day one. Here's my free stuff, and by the way, if you want to work with me, here's what you do. And you have to give people excuses to work with you. And we're doing this at the moment, where we're doing a live version of the bootcamp with live calls and Q&As and things like that, because I know that there are people who sit on the fence, and they sit on the fence sometimes for years, and they need an excuse. So you have to kind of maybe a couple of times a year find an extra bonus or something cool that will give people that opportunity to jump off the fence and work with you. And it's all those things that all starts from mindset. It all starts from it's safe for me to charge. It's okay for me to charge. I'm allowed to charge well for what I do. It all starts in the mindset, and then then it spirals from there, in a positive way.
Absolutely. And in fact, but I was sort of mentioning that we're speaking today, I was talking like in my community and saying that I, sort of use your app for everything. And in fact, today, which is your sort of money tracker app, today I had like a free coffee from like a loyalty card, and it goes straight on the app, and the whole family knows that's going on the app. And so whether it's like, the big bucks from my sales or like a £3 coffee, it's going on the app. And in fact, so my partner now knows that kind of anything that comes in that is unexpected income or like a gift or anything, it's like, always got to go on the app, Joe, it's got to go on the app. And it's nice that as a family we're kind of aware now of, and I think this is a really important one as well. When I started the bootcamp, it was about the money and the numbers and the goals, and it's great to have the vision and it's great to think about where you want your business to be. But now I have the vision and the feeling, and I let go of where those numbers show up from. So, and actually I'm really grateful for the things which rock up, which aren't necessarily income related from a sale. It might be something else that's shown up, and the stuff over the last couple of years has just been ridiculous that's arrived for us. And be it sort of gifts or trips or unexpected partnerships for business, and loads of things which I couldn't have planned with the best will in the world. If I'd have sat down and said, right, okay, next quarter I want to have this holiday and this partnership collaboration, and you can dream and you can imagine these things, but I love the part of letting go and then just kind of seeing what happens and letting some magic around that. But that whole thing right there is mindset too, isn't it? It's just feeling free enough to trust.
It is, absolutely. And actually, when you can manifest as a family, it's so powerful. And we actually put in 2 new modules last year, how to talk to your kids about money and how to talk to your partner about money, because it's hard to do it alone. Again, if you're the only person, you're like dragging your family along. But there's a part of that that's about being a leader for your family and holding the vision for your family. And the other thing you touched on there is around gratitude. And I want to share a bit of a secret about the name of my company, Lucky Bitch, because it's not about being like, oh, look at me, I'm such a jammy bastard, but it's actually about gratitude. And we say this a lot in our family. We say, we are so lucky. And we're not saying it as in we're better than other people. What I'm really saying there is I'm so freaking grateful. And, that's for me what being a lucky bitch is all about, is really counting your blessings and really getting into a place of gratitude for everything that you have. And in fact, that's tracking is one of those things.
Tracking has been a massive one for me. And in fact, sharing, those things in the group, in fact, I did one today that was, sort of now like it's half term at the moment, and the kids are at home, which can mean a little bit of crazy, but it's awesome. And, those of you who know me will know that I struggle with some chronic health things from time to time, and I'm recovering right now. So for me, I sat there this morning on my sofa feeling really grateful that I have a really flexible business, that I can be with my amazing children, that we have all this stuff going on. That for me right now is more important than sipping cocktails on a beach in Bali, which is not what the business lifestyle always is. It's what success looks like to you. And so we are always really kind of keen to share that with the kids, and to kind of have that around us as a mantra, really, that wow, we're so lucky, because I can see how much I've changed from the lack mindset from sort of joining a couple of years ago to now, where you can see how far things have moved, and it's incredible. So I've got a couple of questions, Denise, from my lovely peeps.
Please.
So the lovely Elsie Ryan asked, she would like to know, what do you do, Denise, when things aren't going as planned or your goals haven't been met? How do you
same thing that I tell everyone in the boot camp. So I think the basics work. So for me, that is gratitude for what I have. Immediately turns my my mindset around from, oh, look at all this stuff I don't have, to hang on, look how great it already is. And if you're really stretching, you can thank God for the air that I breathe and the fresh water that I have. But you have to get into a state of gratitude, so then you can manifest from a place of fullness rather than manifesting from a place of scarcity and lack. And that's so, so important. So I have a gratitude. Oh, that's right here. Gratitude journal.
Oh, nice. Right on cue.
That was not planned. And, you know, when I honestly, because I still get to that stage sometimes too where I think, oh, it's not manifesting quick enough. So I actually do gratitude in advance for stuff. So I'll write down, you know, I love feeling strong and healthy in my body, or my new book flows effortlessly out of me. Thank you so much, universe. So I kind of pre-thank, but also, you know, I always say, and I'm so grateful for X, Y, Z. So I always do that. And then I'm a big fan of EFT as well, which is the tapping, which, you know, anyone who's in my bootcamp, you know, whenever someone's like, I don't know what to do, forgive and tap. Go and forgive someone and do some EFT and get yourself. To be honest, those things are pattern interrupters more than anything else. You know, there's no magic in it. You're interrupting a negative thought process and replacing it with something positive. Then you're more likely to act in positive ways. Then you're more likely to have positive outcomes. So it's just kind of a positive spiral.
To the kind of increments that we spoke about, isn't it? Because I remember, you know, when I struggled with this at first, and it still happens occasionally now, if I set a huge goal that actually was a stretch that was too far outside where I was at the time, then although that sort of one thought, you know, might have been, right, I want this, all the rest of my thoughts were like, really? Because we're nowhere near that yet. And that's quite a big stretch. Whereas if you go in small increments and stretch yourself a little bit each time and set a slightly different goal and then feel into becoming that person who has those things, then it's easier.
And actually it happens much quicker. Even though at the start it feels frustrating because it feels like it's annoyingly slow, once you get momentum, in the long run, it's way quicker and more sustainable as well.
Yeah. I agree. Right. And I had one from the lovely Sandra who she says, as a multi in every way kind of girl, how do I determine which desire to focus on? So she says, no doubt I'm driving the universe nuts with my new biz, new house, new car, new pool desires. I love it.
That's okay. I think sometimes you've got to give yourself permission. It's okay to have big goals and dreams. And if you're feeling bad about it, I want you to go back to an origin story around that where people might have told you, you're too much, you want too much, you want it all too quick, and see what comes out, because you always have to go forgive and tap. Always go back to an origin story, because I find there's no right or wrong. It's just what we're making it mean. And a lot of the time we're making that mean I'm irresponsible, I'm asking for too much, I'm scattered, I'm not focused enough. And it's like, well, not focused enough by whose standards? Go back and forgive that origin story and let that one go.
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer. And I think as well, you know, what I would say to Sandra as a lucky bee is that it's often, you know, what that item represents. So for example, you know, for ages I was trying to manifest a certain car, and it didn't happen, but I always knew the feeling of that was actually freedom and travel, and all that stuff happened. And so that was like a symbol for me of that feeling. So I'm totally fine that car didn't rock up, because I got how I saw myself in that thing. So going back to what you're kind of originally asking is probably quite a good one. So
yeah, and I was just going to say too, there's something in there about giving yourself permission to want what you really want. And some of that comes with experience. I think a lot of us aren't that experienced at really knowing what we want, and so we think it's something. We go, oh, well, we want that, just like you were saying with the car, I want that. And it's just because we're unused to using that muscle about what we want, and it takes practice to get to that stage as well.
Yeah, and in fact I had a really good one the other day. I was just in the shower doing a sort of, well, actually, universe, I could do with kind of X amount of kind of income today, and I felt that thought, had the vibration, as we say, let go of it, completely forgot about it until later on a completely random request for someone to hire me for something I hadn't even thought about rocked. I was like, oh, of course, I put that out there. And you know, I love it when you can stay in that zone of just being really playful and really creative with it, which is also what I teach as part of creative thinking in your business, and and content creation all applies to what you're doing. You're basically writing your own story and getting creative with it, with this stuff, and it's just so much fun. So before we go, what would you do differently now if you could have your business all over again with the hindsight that you have? What would you do?
I I really don't think I would change that much, because I'm a big believer in you have to do your apprenticeship, you know, which means you have to learn and grow and make mistakes. And also I saw every mistake as a signpost, and I've always been really good at this, and it's a good thing to cultivate because I had to learn it, is I saw everything like this is a sign that I'm on the right track, even if it was like something that some people get derailed by, like, oh, a refund request from a client or a hater. You know, some people are like, this is a sign I'm not meant to be successful. And I was like, this is a sign that I'm on my way. And
Perfect.
I'm, you know, yes. And I think it requires that, the outrageous success that people want and that freedom that they want, it requires you to dig deeper and not to be more worthy or be smarter or be more ambitious, but it actually requires you to go that extra mile around your thinking. And you know, it's that reverse paranoia thing, like see everything that the universe is conspiring to help you, and just believe in that and see everything as a positive sign. And it'll just flow onto each other.
And what I love is you know, you've been really honest about this, you know, on your site and in your stuff, is that, you know, when your friend Leonie started doing really well and started getting her big house, you were like, what? And, you know, I'm sure that everyone can relate to, you know, peers and colleagues who are, you know, perhaps seem to be rising faster than you, or their success is going in a different way. And, you know, we all struggle from that. And I, you know, what I do, you know, is what you've taught me, which is always try to turn that around and go, that's awesome. But thank you so much, universe, for showing me, you know, how that can happen to people. And
absolutely. And especially if it's just 1 or 2 degrees separation.
Right.
Again, some people see that, the fact that she has it means that I'm not allowed to have it. She took my luck. And you can't see it that way. You have to flip it around and say, the fact that I've seen it so close to me is totally to make me believe that it's possible for me as well. And again, you can see everything as bad and terrible, or you can choose to see things in a different way. And that's been the big secret of my success, and everyone who's been successful in the Lucky Bee community as well, is that we've chosen to see things in a different light.
And what a powerhouse, you know, community that is as well. You know, you run that so well. It's such a beautiful place to hang out, and it's so lovely to see people share their wins and also the realities of actually, you know, things aren't going too well at the moment, I'm struggling, and how much help there is in there. So guys, 6 weeks of live boot camp, which is so what's the dates on those, Denise?
Yes, so we've actually got an early bird finishing very soon, which is on the 27th of October, 9 p.m. Eastern, which I'm not 100% sure what time that is in the UK, but I'm sure you can find out. But, and Joe, you've got a special affiliate link as well, and there is a countdown timer on that too. So if anyone's wondering about when that early bird ends, the countdown timer's at the top. So what's your link for that?
So mine is on the killercontentacademy.com/Denise. I'm also going to put that below as well. And also anyone who joins through my link will also be getting a free access to the Killer Content Academy, which will be getting your content out there to build the business which you're also creating with Denise. So I can't speak highly enough of the course. It's just been wonderful. So thank you so much, Denise, for your work and for being such a shining example to us as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you for spreading the word in the community. And
of course,
we hope that everyone can join us for this live version. We haven't done it in 3 years. I don't know when or if we'll ever do it again. So if anyone's been looking at, you know, dealing with their money blocks, or even if you've been thinking about joining for a while, guess what? I've just given you a really good excuse to join. And all the live calls kick off in November, the first week of November, and I've just added some bonus calls for Europeans as well.
Oh my God,
so you don't have to stay up too late to come to the calls. I've added an extra 3 bonus calls that are a very European friendly time.
Well, I plan to be going through the whole live round again, so I'll be reaching the next bit. So, you know, can't wait to welcome everybody else in there who'll be joining us. Thank you so much, Denise, for this evening and for our call. It's evening for me, really early morning for you.
Thanks, lovely. Much. Thanks, everybody.
All right, honey. Thanks.